Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the one and only WACK Podcast featuring your very own Meredith and Spencer Cook. We have a fantastic show for you tonight featuring one of HBU's very own, Joe Michaels, professor and HBU broadcaster in residence. Let's get ready for a fantastic show. Back to you, Meredith and Spencer.
Beautifully done.
Cool Fabulous.
Wasn't that not?
It was really good.
Okay, so we're starting this podcast with our fabulous cast and crew. So we have Ben over there. We have Ethan, who's a new face for us. And Dylan, who's been here since day one. He's the love of our lives. And David, who is from We Are Blind. So welcome back. And then also, it was Joe Moronsky. And then we also do, I got a notification. We also have Joe Michaels with us, who is our professor, and we love Joe. So we just want to say a big thank you to all you guys. We love you, and we couldn't do this without you.
Meredith, darling, this is beautiful. David, any words?
Yeah, I finished all of my gummy bears before we started.
You had help. We all ate some.
No.
Well, let's get this show started, shall we?
Yes, thank you guys. You're good. Go away.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Well, welcome back to the WACK Podcast. We're so excited to have you guys here. Another week, we are on episode 7.
Yeah.
So crazy.
God,
Isn't
seven?
isn't that crazy?
Wow.
And so we are so excited. Next week on Monday will be our final episode for the semester. Recording here, we are talking about possibly recording at either one of our houses over Christmas break and Thanksgiving break, because we won't be back here on campus till mid-January. Or also, if Joe Michaels is going to be here over the holidays, maybe he could kind of
I'll be in
arrange.
Connecticut.
Yeah, no, he will not be around here.
Yeah, so we'll try and figure something out. But again, we just want to say a massive thank you to all the cast and crew. We were messing around early in the studio, super fun, listening to Christmas music. We were having a good time. And so we just wanted to start and thank everybody. But why don't we get started off, kicked off?
So big deal having Joe in the studio with us today. He's our is it director in residence?
No,
Broadcaster in
I
residence.
started as an artist in residence.
Okay.
And then they hired 10 more. How many are there?
There's a lot. I think there's like 12.
So they ended up making me the broadcaster in residence.
Yes. And I talk about him on tour every week.
Oh, that's sad. We had the first artist in residence was a guy named Alan Beaver, who passed away last year,
Okay.
who was a designer and an advertising executive on Madison Avenue, who actually, it was very sad. I wish a lot of students knew him.
Yeah.
He was one of the characters that they made Mad Men about,
Really?
because he had his own advertising agency in the 50s, and brought tons of products to the United States.
That's pretty
And
crazy.
he was right here for like 10 years, and students didn't know his background, I guess.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
That's pretty
That is
crazy.
cool.
Yeah, pretty
That's
cool.
so crazy.
But talking about backgrounds, you have been in a huge.
Did you
We're
see
gonna
my?
brag
did,
about
did
you.
you see my my jail sentences too? In there?
No, I don't think so.
You're lying.
I am.
Yeah, good. Oh my goodness.
My parents are watching
We have
this
we
podcast.
have a convict with us.
Well,
on the
he looked at me
podcast,
like
yeah.
he's got background that I didn't know about.
No, but Joe's career has spanned over 40 years. Teaching, working at NBC. Tell us a little bit about your career. What did you enjoy the most?
Well, it was a lot of fun graduating college and becoming a page at NBC.
Yeah.
Because you give tours, like you do here. You give tours and you're ushers at shows. So when I was a page, when I started, The Tonight Show was still in New York with Johnny Carson.
Oh, wow.
And so we got to do that. Bob Hope specials. All big shows were in New York back then. Yeah. So we got to see all that. It was really cool. And we partied every weekend. It was kind of like college, an extension of college. Really? When I was a page, though, we had about 40 people on staff, and most of them wanted to be actors and actresses. I didn't know I wanted to work in television really until I got in there and started to watch them do this. And I went, oh my God, this is so cool.
Yeah.
So when you think back, that's probably the most fun I had. Then you have moments that are you know, you either work with celebrities or you're doing a show that you just love. And then years later, so I was in sports a long time. I started in radio for a year or two. And then when I got into the Today Show, that was a wild place because you have ups and downs. You have great concerts and celebrity interviews and fashion shows and cooking spots, and you have things like 9/11 and Columbine, all in the same show. So it's that, you know, I don't want to say that's fun, but it was really neat to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, do you want to ask any questions? Anything you're thinking about talking about?
I think the first impression I got from you was actually you came to Doug Hall's colloquium.
Oh.
My freshman
I do
year.
that once a year.
Yes.
I do it
and
once a
I
year.
was sitting there and I was like, oh my God, it's Joe Michaels. He's
Oh my God.
He's like famous. And then,
Infamous, not famous.
and now, you know, I see you almost every day.
Yeah.
Pretty
I
much,
just
yeah.
come to your office and I'm like, what's up? and, so just kind of like comparing that, it's so crazy. But I remember just you talking about, how long have you been working here with the
I think
university?
this is my 6th year, which is absolutely crazy because I was going to be here for 1 year.
Yeah, you told us you were like
That's
1 year, and you said
crazy.
you really enjoyed it, and then
remember.
was it Nito that had
Well,
convinced
no,
you? Or?
yeah, but
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
Mitch,
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
Mitch
yeah.
and 2 other students came to my office at the end of the first year and said, and Mitch, literally a little teary-eyed, said, are you going to teach here next semester? And I looked at him and I went, yes. And I had no intention of. And he said, how long are you going to be here? I said, until you graduate. It was like the weirdest thing. 'Cause
And
I
this
had
was
not.
his freshman
That was his
year?
freshman year.
Yeah, so 3 more years.
Yeah. And then when he graduated, he said, are you leaving? I go, no, I'm staying. But seriously, I think, this is really corny, but I had no intention of staying here for a year because I didn't think I could teach. I had no idea what to do. And I mean this in the nicest way. I'm only here because of you guys. I don't like the paperwork. I like the faculty,
Yeah.
but I'm not like them.
pretty good.
I'm not smart like them, and I don't know all the academic stuff. And the students here are absolutely unbelievable,
Yeah.
and that's what it is. That's why I like it here.
Look at him talking
And now,
about
and
you
now,
like that.
Mitch is is he with Good Morning
Mitch
America?
is with the Today Show,
Today Show.
not Burbank any longer,
Yes.
in Universal.
Yes.
so
Yeah,
cool.
I actually had a phone call with him a few weeks ago,
Yeah.
talking to him about that.
And he's a researcher,
Yes.
and he's the only one there now, so he's got a great job.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And last time I talked to him, he was thinking they were asking him if he wanted to move to New York and work at the show itself.
Oh, that's
So I think that's what he's going to do.
He's a phenomenal
He's a great
individual.
guy. He's-
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why
He's great.
I now talk about him at that freshman thing because his
Great
freshman year,
example.
he applied for about 130 internships for that summer.
Holy cow.
And I said to him, you're not going to get one, but keep doing it. And his next year, Madison Square Garden told him to reapply because they had seen his application the year before, and he became one of the marketing interns for Radio City Music Hall.
That's so cool.
And he got 1 or 2 internships every year after that.
Amazing. Yeah.
Mitch was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was so great to like also have someone like a student to look up to that and say like even if you're struggling, it is possible.
Oh, without a
You know
doubt.
what I mean?
And this is terrible. I only remembered him because he wore a bow tie the first day he was here. And I called him Bow Tie Boy. And he came to my office about a week later and he walked in, he goes, I don't know if you remember me. I go, Bow Tie Boy.
Yeah,
And he said, can we talk about internships? It was his second week as a freshman.
that's crazy.
A real go-getter. And a great
Unbelievable
guy. And a
go-
great
Yeah,
guy.
for
He's
sure.
a great
He
individual,
really is. He's a great guy.
absolutely.
That's super cool.
Yeah, so you've been doing some like just kind of research
Not
overall
really,
about
yeah. I mean, I just kind of
breezing
remember some of the
through.
stuff you've told us over.
I will
the
tell you a
past year
funny
and
story
half,
about
yeah.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I got an award from my college. It had to be about 8 or 9 years ago, and it was as Outstanding Alumni Award. So it was this big dinner, and I was scared to death that I had to get up and speak in front of like 2,000 people.
Yeah.
And to my surprise, a guy I worked with at the Today Show, Matt Lauer, showed up in a tux. It was all tuxes.
Yeah.
And he showed up, and I didn't know he was going to be there. And he got up and introduced me. And he said, because when you were looking there, I said, Matt said, you know, I went online to see if there was something about Joe I could say that I didn't know about. And there's nothing online about him at all.
Yeah.
He said, nothing. He said, I think he's in the witness protection program. And it was absolutely hysterical. I mean, he was very funny. But the bad part is he did find something online, which is no longer online, so don't look for it.
Okay.
But I directed the show Topless once as a joke.
Yeah.
And it was a joke with who was it? It was David Letterman.
Oh my gosh.
And it was a
Okay.
joke because they did a stick where they were topless on the show.
Yeah.
And they came on the show to talk about it the next day. And they told me to direct the show topless so that they could make believe that I really enjoyed what they did the night before.
Yeah.
And they put it online. And my daughter, who probably was about 8 years old or 9 years old, came home from school that day. Daddy, everybody saw you topless, and I'm so ashamed. It was
so
hysterical,
funny.
but it was online forever. I'm so glad they took it off.
I'm sure it's somewhere.
No.
Some
We
dark
gotta do
corner.
some digging.
something.
Some crazy
gotta do
person
some
somewhere, maybe.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
It was
absolutely.
pretty funny.
So, your background includes working for the Today Show for 21,
I think 24 years. Something
24
like that.
years. What has been like what was kind of an inspiration to like, did you have a connection there or did you just,
To do the show,
to do the show?
that's a story I shouldn't tell, but I was in sports for 12 years, I think,
Yeah.
and I was burnt out. You're on the road. The last year I was in sports was 1988. We did the World Series, we did an Olympics that year. Every week I was out on the road doing NFL, and I was burnt out. And I had to get off the road. Sports is a young man's sport to begin with, but I was just burnt out from traveling. That year I was on the road for almost 268 days.
Holy cow.
So I got home, and a buddy of mine who had been directing the Today Show said, I want you to come in AD for me. I said, why? He said, because I'm leaving the show. I want you to learn the show, and you'll probably get the job. So I came back, and I associate directed for a year or so, and then he left the show, and I got the job as a director.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I hated it because I said, oh my God, I have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And when I started doing the show, I absolutely adored it. There's nothing like, in television, there's nothing like, number one, there's nothing like live television, but there's nothing like working on a show that's different every day,
Yes. Yeah.
you know?
And today's show was 5 days a week?
5 days, well, when I first started, we had a Saturday show that I also directed for a while, but it's 5 days a week. It was a 2-hour show, a live 2-hour show, and then a couple years later, we went to 3 hours, which was a little tough. And then when they went to 4 hours, the weekend director did the 4th hour.
Oh, okay.
And then when I left 8 years ago, I think it was, they split the show in half now, so there's 2 directors. They each do 2 hours.
So okay. Yeah. 4 hours can be a.
Yeah, 3 hours was, I never did the whole 4 hours. I did
Yeah.
the first 3 hours every day.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of TV, it's a lot of live TV to do.
Yeah.
And you did the Today Show for a while, and you talk a lot about Matt Lauer and everything that he did. And I know you did Where in the World is Matt Lauer
Right.
with him for a few years. Where was your favorite place that you got to travel to?
Or just talk about what that.
Or travel
Yeah,
experience.
for
Yeah,
people who don't know what that segment was, just talk
Well,
about
that segment
what
was
it was.
once a year for 5 days. Matt would go to a different city in the world every day. So he would be in Rome on Monday, and he'd be in the Himalayas on Tuesday, and he'd be in Sydney, Australia on Wednesday, and that week was. And the great part about it was that everybody at home didn't know where he was. So they guessed every day, he left clues every day, and they tried to guess where he was. And we did 10 years of it, so that's 50 different cities.
Yeah.
And it was a big hit. It was a big hit. And it was fun shows to do. I actually directed those from New York.
Yes.
All of it. So all of it
Yes.
was like remote. and
Every
everything?
single one of them was from New York.
So who would go?
So we would go and scout places,
Yeah.
Okay.
and then I would know what it looked like.
Mm-hmm.
And
then
so
you'd
then we
send
would have
Matt, yeah.
a floor plan of where cameras were and where home base was, where he was going to do an interview, where he would walk to do something else. And then I would go back home, and NBC had a system back then that I don't think anybody else had at that point, where you can put cameras on one transponder. And the transponder came back to New York, and it decoded into as many cameras as we had there.
Okay.
So I would direct that from New York. So the cameramen were on the remote, and I would tell them what to do from there. So I would direct it from New York. It saved money. That's why we did it that way.
Of course.
Yeah.
What was there a
absolutely.
favorite? Was there a favorite place that either you or Matt
Well,
went?
I did not go to the northern part of Greenland, and we opened that show with Matt in a very small boat with icebergs behind him, and it was absolutely gorgeous.
That's
It was-
That's
I mean, it was gorgeous.
amazing.
A lot of them were those kind of shows, where to this day you go back and look at them and go, wow, you know. He was at the base camp of Mount Everest for one of the shows. Lots of them were like that. The first show was the pyramids. He was in front of the pyramids. So every show started with just a shot of his face, and he would give you clues, and the cast in New York had to guess where he was. And as soon as, if they guessed, great. If they didn't, we'd widen the camera out real fast, and you'd see him in front of the pyramids or wherever he was. Great Wall of China, things like that.
Oh my gosh.
It was
What-
very successful.
Oh yeah, I bet. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it was really successful.
As well as that, you worked with Katie Kirk for a while, and
Yeah, since her first day.
yeah. Do you have like a favorite memory with her? Or
Well, she was not taken seriously at first.
Oh wow.
Oh, I mean, these shows, even the Good Morning America, always had a male and a female. And the male always dominated the show, did all the important interviews and stuff.
Absolutely.
And Katie was, not that she wasn't taken seriously, she didn't get all the big interviews and stuff. So she was given a fluff piece to do, live from the White House, and she was going to interview George Bush, his wife.
Okay.
And she was going to show her around the White House. And we had a couple cameras there. I was directing that from New York as well. And she was just supposed to walk around, and they were supposed to talk about the decorations that the Bush family did on the White House. And in the middle of the interview, President Bush walked in, and she tore him apart. He literally stopped by to say hi. He wasn't supposed to be at the White House. And he walked into the room right in the middle of the interview, and she started asking him really tough questions. And he was actually very uncomfortable. You could see how uncomfortable he was. And he said, he even said, I believe, I just came in to say hi. And she tore him apart. And I think that was the turning point of her becoming a really serious interviewer.
Where they knew she was very
About it, yeah.
So it was that I'd never forget that interview.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
'Cause
so
it's on
incredible.
YouTube. It's on YouTube.
I know what I'm
watch
watching.
And it's
after the
absolutely,
podcast,
it's
yeah.
absolutely hysterical to see how she did that.
Oh wow.
Were you guys cracking up in the
Well,
control room, or were you
How did
worried?
you- how did you
couldn't
feel about
believe-
that?
We couldn't
Yeah.
believe she was doing it.
Yeah.
We couldn't believe I mean, I don't remember the questions and stuff right now, but she really hit him with some big, heavy questions.
Wow.
And you can see he wanted to leave.
Yeah.
And it was totally not planned.
That's amazing.
That's pretty cool.
She is one of those people that, unlike other anchors of shows who do lots and lots of homework, she just knows it.
Wow.
Yeah, she's
What a gift.
She's a natural.
What a gift.
crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now she does interviews for Yahoo News.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
she does.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Do
So
you want to
cool.
ask a question? Or?
Absolutely. So we
You
talked
actually
about
have more questions today.
Yeah, we
I-
do.
Isn't
I
that
have
enough?
some in the back of my
Isn't
head.
that enough?
so much. Because you,
Every
always
time?
told us
Well, I tell you stories we can't talk about right
all
now.
the, you're always
Yes.
talking about stuff in class.
Yeah,
and things like
yeah.
that.
Just
But
stuff cracking up.
Like Matt Lauer said, there's nothing online. Even your website. I mean, your website gives a good little brief overview, but it's like three paragraphs.
Well, what you think is, I mean, I'm not a celebrity of any kind. I'm a TV
No,
director.
but you've
I'm a
definitely.
You
TV
have a
director, for
lot
gosh sakes.
of great
know.
experience.
Well, it's, I was at NBC for 43 years.
Amazing.
And that's 43 years more than most people can say they have. So
And I will,
kinda have that
I will tell you, the
experience.
funny part is that the guy who directed the show before me, who's a really dear friend of mine, about the third year I directed it, he said, "You're going to leave soon?" I go, "What?" He goes, "Well, you can't do more than 3 years of this show without going crazy." And it turned out that the closest that anybody came, there was a director who directed the show for 7 years.
And you directed
And
for...
I directed, I think I directed, I was on the show for 24 years. think I directed it for 23 years. Wow. And,
So
but I had a formula so nothing bothered me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you gotta have stuff that works for you, and you gotta.
So I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. Fun fact about you:
I'd like to hear that.
you directed the 2008 Olympics,
I directed opening ceremonies.
the opening ceremonies of the 2008.
I didn't direct
the
all
actual
all the
Olympics.
venues.
Yeah.
No, that's that. So the opening ceremonies for
Right.
the 2008.
Right.
It was Socio.
It was
Sho-
Sochi.
Sochi
Right
Olympics.
right on the border of Russia and Soviet Georgia.
Yeah. So do you want to tell us about that? Kind of how that experience was? Was
It
that
was the most
that the
cameras I
largest?
ever had. It was the longest I had to study for a show. It was fun, but it was way too much work.
Oh yeah.
Well, did you guys get you guys got sent out there? I know you. Was it a couple weeks in advance or a couple
I went to Russia that year 12 times. Wow. Probably 8 of them were to Moscow for meetings.
Yeah.
And watching pieces of tape of what. So the NBC did not produce the opening ceremonies.
Okay.
We televised it.
Okay.
So a production company from California actually produced it with Russian producers and changed all the way up till the day before.
Wow.
So I was there 3 months before and watched all the rehearsals in the stadium. And they were actually building the stadium while we were rehearsing because Olympic events, stadiums, things like that are not usually built
In advance or
way in
whatever.
advance.
Yeah.
Because it costs too much money to maintain them.
Yeah.
So we watched, they changed. They did a rehearsal the night before, which was really cool. 4 Russian athletes were going to run into the stadium with big torches, and they were going to go to the center, and this big, gigantic copper ball that was supposed to represent the Earth, they were supposed to light it. It had gas in it. And then it was going to go to the ceiling, and a little piece of animation was supposed to look like this. The sparks went through the ceiling, outside, all the way down the building, and all the way over and up to the tower where the Olympic torch would be lit.
That's super cool.
And when they rehearsed it, the ball blew up.
Blew up.
Like exploded.
The gas
yeah.
blew up. And in fact, the main podium caught fire below it.
Oh my God.
So they had to rebuild the podium. And I actually went to the guy from the company that was the producers, and I said, we could just go over to IKEA and get a new one. And he just gave me a look like, stop fooling around. You can't replace it.
Like Costco or
So
something.
they actually came up with another way of lighting the torch that
Wow.
week.
Yeah.
So very last minute.
So everything changes constantly in shows.
Yeah.
like that,
Constantly. Yeah,
But
absolutely.
it's fun. It was fun. Just terribly demanding.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it. Good. No.
Do you have anything? I have questions. I mean, I was gonna ask. I was gonna wait.
Oh, yeah, I mean, you can go ahead. I'm
Yeah.
just asking questions that I have always had.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
So,
Oh, here it comes.
celebrities.
No, all right.
I know you can't talk about.
Well, I don't say anything
specifically.
bad. I don't say, there's not a lot to say bad, but
Yeah.
I don't like to say bad things.
no, of course
But
not.
let's talk about your favorite or maybe your most memorable celebrity that you've met.
My favorite person that used to come to the Today Show was Dustin Hoffman. Do you know who he is?
No.
I feel like he's an actor, right?
He's a very
Yeah.
famous actor.
Yeah.
He was in Tootsie.
Oh.
He played Hook in
Oh, yeah, in Finding,
Neverland. something.
Neverland. Jack?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. yes.
So besides being a terribly nice man,
5'6"?
he would
Oh my
come
God.
he would come to the studio by himself, and he would sit and watch the show before he was being interviewed. And after he was interviewed, if there was a cooking spot, he'd walk in and stand there while they were doing the cooking spot. And usually the day after he was on the show, he would send breakfast for the entire crew.
You were telling us
He was
about that.
absolutely one of the nicest men you ever want to meet.
Wow.
Just it's incredible.
And he was in The Graduate. That's
Yeah,
where I
that's
know
where
him
he
from.
was
Yes.
famous in The Graduate.
Yes.
Just
like
a
his
terribly
first role.
nice man.
Yeah.
So we always look forward to him coming to the show.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you still stay in contact with people you met back in the industry, like stuff
Yeah,
like
a couple.
that, or-
Couple. And I'm still in touch with all the people on the show. Al Roker just was told he has bladder cancer And I talked to him the next day, and prostate, you're right.
Prostate
I
cancer.
confuse everything. I don't know where I am.
Do you need your glasses?
No, I left them in there.
Kirk is now at Yahoo.
Katie's at Yahoo.
Katie moved.
Who is
Natalie Morales used to do the news.
Yes.
And I'm still in touch with
who
her. I have lunch
co-hosted with Matt Lauer?
Meredith Vieira
Yeah. No.
and Katie
I thought it was a different girl.
and Ann Curry.
Who does it now?
Savannah Guthrie.
Savannah Guthrie.
Yeah, who's a
yes.
wonderful lady.
Yes, she's great. She's great. And Al
Never
Roker.
called me by my name, though.
What did she
Always
call
called me Joe Michaels. It was like it was one name.
Joe
Joe Michaels?
Joe Michaels?
It's funny, though, when you
It's
think
like
about
me
it.
when I call you Joseph.
It was funny when you think about it.
Yeah.
Joe Michaels, we have to do this.
I'm gonna start calling you
Okay,
Joe Michaels.
sounds good. Joe Michaels.
Yeah.
And I just remember growing up, like I would always watch the Today Show. Like my
Believe
dad
it
would
or not,
always
so
have
did
it on
I
before.
growing up. No, I
Yes.
did.
Yeah.
Went on the air
When
in
I was-
1952.
when
I was
was-
born in 51.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I would get ready for school and go downstairs and eat breakfast. And my dad would have it on the television since I was in elementary school. And, I just remember growing up, Al Roker would do the weather
Yeah.
and Matt
Well,
Lauer. And
yeah, for you it was Al. Yeah, for me it was
Yeah.
Willard Scott.
Yeah. And, just it's crazy to believe how when, we were younger, you were directing.
Yeah, we had no
back
Oh, yeah,
then.
yeah.
I had no idea.
When you guys were young, you were definitely.
Because the only
directing.
memories I have of the Today Show were it's so weird, but Christmas mornings. And
Yes.
I remember the day before Christmas and Christmas mornings. Only thing I remember is Al Roker in a big overcoat. That's it, and like a scarf.
Because every
It was
Christmas
always
morning,
him.
this is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Because the Christmas show of the Today Show is the only show that's taped every year.
Really? I
It's
didn't know
not
that.
live.
No, that's the only show.
So
Well,
do you
the
tape
New Year's
it-
show is taped too, but
Do you
yeah,
tape it
yeah.
on Christmas Eve?
no, we tape it weeks before.
Weeks.
And the weather and the news are live.
Oh my gosh.
So we leave holes in the show for those live things. And every year Al was starting the Macy's parade in the show live.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah. So that was
Wow.
the only show that we got to tape, and we were horrible taping it. You can do a 2 or 3 hour show in 2 or 3 hours when you're live.
Yeah.
When you tape it, took us 10 hours to do it. Can we do that again? No, we can't. So those shows, we dreaded doing those shows
Oh,
because they were tape shows.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It is kind of funny when you think about it. I grew up on the Today Show as well. And my argument for the Today Show for many years was it's a radio show with pictures because you're getting dressed and having breakfast, and most people don't watch the whole show.
No.
Yeah.
just
And most
tune in
people
for
don't even
segments.
really look unless they hear something they're interested in.
or like somebody they know
Or
is
somebody
like
they
being
wanna see.
interviewed or
Absolutely.
something.
So it was that morning routine that we had growing up as a kid. Well, I had it growing up as a kid where it was on.
In the
but we never
background.
really watched it.
Yeah.
We just listened to it
Yeah. Yeah.
in black and white, when I was a kid.
In my olden days.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's funny. It is funny.
Yeah, I think that's kind of it.
Good.
What are we?
I mean,
What are we on
we're like 30 minutes
Are
already.
we?
That was a
Are
very,
we?
very
Do you know
fast
we're on
episode.
time? Do you know 5 more minutes? Okay.
All right, I'll leave and you guys could chat for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
Sure, that's
That
fine.
sounds
That's
great.
fine.
Thank you so
'cause
much
it's only
for
gonna get
being
worse.
here. Oh gosh, no! Thank you so much for being here.
I'll see you guys.
And
Okay,
we
see
will.
ya.
Just don't forget, I grade you.
Whatever.
So don't talk when I leave. Don't talk about me when I
Make
leave.
sure.
Yes, we'll make sure.
See you, Joe Michaels.
Yeah, so that was our professor who we have class with him every Tuesday, Thursday, and also he helps us. I rope him into helping us with our podcast. And yeah, so we are coming up a couple more minutes. Anything?
We got 5 more minutes. What do you want to talk about? We have Thanksgiving. We have Christmas. We just
Oh,
got finished
let's
talking
talk
to
about
Joe.
next
What-
week's
what do you mean?
episode. So it's going to be our last episode
Thanksgiving.
for. It's going to be the Monday before Thanksgiving, and we
Yeah.
go home on that Tuesday.
yeah.
So we're thinking about possibly doing maybe like a Christmas Thanksgiving-y type thing.
I won't do anything Christmassy because if we record a Christmas at your house with Ryan, I'll probably be Santa Claus. I
Okay.
want to save that.
So
you
we're
know?
gonna both
Yeah.
dress up as pilgrims. Is that what you're saying?
I don't have a. Who has a pilgrim's costume?
I don't. I'm going to like Hobby Lobby or
I
something.
don't want to spend money. I'm so cheap. Stop.
But we definitely should do something, whether it's we do like a trivia thing on Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
or maybe we actually like eat Thanksgiving food. I don't know. Like
I don't think
something.
we're not allowed to have food in the studio.
That's right. We're
'Cause
not.
You're gonna
Yep.
get turkey all over the curtains. and then we're gonna get in
Absolutely.
trouble. That's not good.
What else can we talk about? It's Monday. We only have 1 week left of school. Did you do anything over the weekend?
Homework. That's about it.
yeah.
I have like 5 projects due this week and
A lot of
a
stuff due.
huge and I messed up today because I forgot one of my things and I have a 5-page paper due tomorrow night. And I haven't even started. I mean, 5 pages isn't that bad, but still, it's like 2 or 3 hours of work.
Yeah, it's like my last self-assessment thing for one of my negotiations course. I think that's also due tomorrow.
Yeah, I do not like it.
And final exams are not going to be until they're all online.
They're first week of December. I think it's
Yeah.
December 2nd through December 9th.
Yeah.
I think.
So our university, how COVID guidelines worked out, we came here in middle of August.
Yeah.
Like August 18th or something like that, and we've been trekking on since now.
We've had literally no breaks.
No day off of school.
Nope.
I've had professors, over when it was midterms, like
Oh,
in
yeah,
that
like
middle
write
of
people
October,
off and
saying
let
like,
people go.
take a class off, but I would always have work or like something to do or anything. And let me tell you, it's been tough. It's been really, really, really tough. I have been craving
But you have like 20 credits, don't you? Or is it 18?
18.
I remember you said I only have a 16 credit semester. It's a
Yeah.
very small semester for
Oh,
me.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
usually I'm taking 18 or 20. Like next semester I'm doing 20. Last semester
That's
was 18.
overriding.
No, you can do 20, but anything over 20 is overriding.
I thought it was 18.
I'm pretty sure it's 20 because
Really?
Yeah, I
Is
tried
it
to
20?
do I tried to do
It's
22.
18. Yeah, it's 18.
Then how am I doing 20?
I don't know. Did you register for it?
Yeah.
You need to talk to your
I'll talk to Belle.
advisor.
We'll find it
Talk
out.
to Belle or
We'll
something.
figure it out, Christina.
But if you guys want to listen to something or have us talk about something specific on next week's episode, we definitely do that. We do want to advise you that we've been uploading every week for
6 weeks now?
Yeah,
This will
6,
be the
7
7th
weeks.
week,
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're only probably gonna upload once
We
over.
might do once, maximum twice.
Yeah,
because-
over Christmas break, just because we want to take the time to just relax and be with our family. But luckily, we all live pretty close to each other, so we're going to get our content manager, Ryan. Hopefully, Dylan will be able to come up. He lives in Rock Hill. We got Ben Tortellini, who... Where did Ben go? I don't know where Ben
I
went.
didn't know Ben lives close.
He lives in Huntersville, right next to... or like literally
So
10,
I'm literally
15.
like the farthest one away from everybody. Because
Yeah.
I'm in Kernersville, you're
And
all
then
near Charlotte
Ryan
and everything.
Stewart lives south of Charlotte in Waxhaw. He's probably about, I would say, like an hour from me.
I'm at least an hour and a half, or
From-
an hour 15 from you.
From Davidson, yeah. But that's kind of all that we're going to talk about this episode. Thank you again so much for Joe Michaels, our cast and crew. Follow,
Absolutely.
subscribe. Yeah, let's
do it
close
together?
every
3,
2,
2,
1.
1.
So thank you guys so much for watching. What are you doing? There he is. Oh God. Follow, subscribe. Check us out. Tell your friends. Let us know if you want to hear something specific. Thanks so much for watching.
Yeah, thank you guys. Bye, everybody.
Bye.